In this video, I'm gonna show you the difference between posting on social media for attention and positioning your brand on social so people actually want to buy from you. If you are in a competitive market, your customer has a lot of choice. And we have to remember that a lot of times they are actually not even in the market. Of our buyer pool, probably 95% is not ready to make a purchase right now, and 5% are. But we want to position so that when the 95%, those people move into a potential buyer pool, we are there to be the choice. We want to be the product they select. How do we do this? It's done not through chasing blind attention, but rather through pre-positioning and positioning your brand. And let's face it, a lot of brands are promoting blindly on social media. They're chasing views, trends, relying on overly relatable content, or trying to sound too cool or culturally relevant. And ultimately, they're missing the plot altogether because those brands have fallen into the commodity content trap. On the surface, it feels like it's working for them because they're getting a lot of views, likes, comments, etc. However, they are not changing where they sit in the potential consumer's mind. They're not deepening their position or pre-positioning their brand. So what we want to do is block out some of that noise and look for signals and ways that we can position our brands to make sure that customers choose us when it comes time to purchase. Because most brands don't realize that attention and intention are two separate things. And we want to get attention, but we also want to crank up the buyer intention. Attention is cheap, intention is earned. And it's the gap between those two things where positioning lives. And this becomes especially dangerous for brands if they sell a high ticket item. Look, if you're selling a $5 impulse buy, sure, attention will do the trick. You're probably not selling a $5 item. You might have a tech business. You might have a product that you sell, whatever it may be, but I'm sure it costs more than $5. So you can't rely on impulse. And think about it. If you're selling a high consideration product, something where trust matters, positioning is so crucial. And chasing attention through hollow likes, comments, etc. might actually hurt you in the long run because people might laugh at a funny post, but they won't buy from your brand solely because it's funny. They buy because your brand feels credible and it matches their taste profile and their budget consideration. So we want to look at, do we position to fit and match our customers' wants and needs and their expectation with our internal capabilities and product quality, right? We have external eyes on us, what the customer expects, and internal ability. Can we actually put those both together? And that's where we want to position our brand. We don't want to sell things we don't have, and we don't want to devalue our brand either. So we want to find that sweet spot in how we come across online. And here's a dead simple way to think about it. Take Kia and Aston Martin. Both these companies sell cars. They sell something on four wheels that will get you from point A to point B, but you would never confuse the two. Kia doesn't need to convince you that it's a luxury brand, and Aston Martin doesn't need to prove that it's accessible or affordable. And everything they do reinforces their position. The design, the language, the tone, the restraint, everything reinforces position. Now, imagine if Aston Martin started posting casual memes, jokes, trending content on their account. That would hurt them. You and I both know that that would hurt their brand image and their position. And it's not because the content is inherently bad. It's because the content causes confusion. And confusion is the enemy of conversion. And that's the core difference between blind promotion and positioning. Blind promotion says, how can we get more eyeballs? While positioning says, what do we do? Who are we for? And why should a consumer choose us over the 10 alternatives? And that difference matters a ton when you think about social media. Now, why? Because a lot of times people think social media is solely a first touch platform, meaning it is a way that you get in front of new customers who've never seen your brand. Yes, that's true to an extent. However, a lot of times it's actually a second touch platform, meaning somebody saw your ad and clicked through. Somebody was on your website, or somebody saw your product out on one of their friends and their friends recommended it. So they went to check out your Instagram. This is the second brand touch point. Now, at this point, right, they are not in exploration. What the consumer is actually doing is searching for confirmation. They want to know they're in the right place. They want to know that this product is for them, and their subconscious is acting quickly to make this decision for them, right? They are on your account saying, is this place legitimate? Are there real customers? Could I see myself using this product? All of these questions are very real and they happen in an instant with your customer. And this is where a lot of brands get led astray. They start chasing likes and comments through relatable or meme style content, and that is not a positive buying signal. So remember, your consumer is using shortcuts, and this is called heuristics. It's where your brain takes signals and patterns and actually creates a shortcut. So in a relatively short amount of time, your brain will actually be telling you if this brand is good for you or not, based on how your brand is positioned and how the consumer sees themselves. If the content feels scattered or purely for engagement, it's going to cause confusion in the buyer. What we want to do is create certainty, and we want to move a buyer up the value ladder. So the first rung is that first interaction they have with the brand. Then we want to deepen that relationship. So the second interaction, they are moved further up the value ladder until they eventually become a customer or they reach out to you. That's when your service can take over and your customer service, human element, etc. And think about this back to the automotive example, right? Kia can be approachable. They can focus on things like price, safety, because that's who they're selling to. While Aston Martin also makes a car, but they are priced at 2 to 3 times more than a Kia. They are selling feature, lifestyle moments, other things that people can use as signal to say, hey, they want certain qualities in a vehicle versus just safety and comfort, that a Kia has. And neither of those brands is trying to steal from each other. They know exactly who they serve. Blind promotion throws that context out the window because it assumes that attention is king over everything. However, not all attention is equal. We don't want the wrong attention. Instead of attention, we want intention, and that is people willing to buy. So I would say you want less eyeballs on your brand if you know that it's people who actually want to purchase from you. So let's do a simple exercise. If you're still with me now, I want you to take out a piece of paper or type, and I want you to go through your last 10 posts on social media. Now, when you go through this, try to have a fresh perspective and ask yourself, what do we do? Who do we do it for? How are we positioned against the 10 alternatives in the space, right? Now, this is coming back to your internal capability matching consumer expectation. Do you do that? Be honest with yourself here. If not, that's okay. It's time to go back to the drawing board. If you do it, that's fantastic. Keep doing what you're doing. The further you get with your brand position and understanding who you are and what the customer expects from you, the better you're going to be. All right, that's it for this piece of content on brand positioning. I am happy you are still here at the end. And if you want more content, please join our weekly newsletter. Link to that is below. If you want more videos like this, like, subscribe. And if you have any comments, throw them down below. I respond to everything myself. We're not a mega channel, so I will respond to everything. I appreciate you and have a great rest of the day.